What's up, y'all? Shoebooty Sports coming at you Tuesday night per the usual time, as mostly always. It's your host, Grandpa, co-host Bradley Brown. Say what's up, Brad.
It's happening.
Lots of things. Quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. Sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your favorite fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit those results to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be sent to you by mail, shipped to you by mail. And check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoebooty Sports, on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, the Wisdom app. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoebooty Sports. Okay, so going to start things off on a sad note here. Tragic news. This has been hitting Razorback fans hard. Just untimely deaths, young people, young Razorback legends. First Ryan Mallett. You had the Peyton Hillis scare. What was it, a year ago now, roughly?
Yeah.
Was it even that?
Smith
Here,
in the springtime too, right?
yeah, it's recent. I can't remember exactly when, but then you hear about Ryan Mallett passing a month or two ago.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago now, I guess. Drowning accident in Destin, and now Alex Collins. One of the great Razorback running backs. Spent 3 years at Arkansas, had 1,000 yards rushing all three years. I think he had 1,600 something yards and 20 touchdowns his last year as a Razorback, which capped off with a big bowl win. And yeah, just it was a motorcycle accident, my understanding. Someone switching lanes and colliding into him, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. So terrible news in his home state of Florida. But terrible news. When did this happen? Yesterday.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah. Awful news. But yeah, like I said, too many hogs leaving us too soon, and you know this is the latest. Sad news to hear about yesterday. He was, I believe, he played in the USFL. Was it
Yeah.
last year? I don't know
Mhm.
that I don't think he played anywhere this season, but had your he went pro after his junior season with the Hogs, which was he couldn't have gone out on a higher note. Like I said, 1,600 plus yards, 20 touchdowns, and that was Bielema's last good team. So he really left on as high of a note as he could as a Razorback. Yeah, he's going to be missed, man. Um, yeah, sad news to hear about number 3. Uh, what he was as a Razorback, but
Yeah.
I did get to see the clip. Of course, the people showing Alex Collins highlights. Did get to see the 4th and 25 clip against Ole Miss. Of course, where he runs it for a first down and Arkansas eventually wins the game. Crazy game,
Yeah.
against Ole Miss. But yeah, he left behind a lot of great memories for us, but unfortunately, um, yeah, left us too soon. I think he wasn't he? I believe he was about to turn 29.
Yeah. He's 28 years old.
Yeah, so tough news. I don't want to hear any more, you know, stories like this. Um, I know these things happen, and there's just nothing you can do about it. We're all going to go sooner or later. You just don't want it to be like this, ideally, anyway. But either way, uh, heck of a career as a football player, at least at Arkansas. His NFL career was short, but the average one is. Most of them are, but great career at Arkansas, and he'll be missed. So, rest in peace, Alex Collins. Where would you kind of? I don't want to say where would you rank him, because that popped into my head. I don't know where you rank him amongst like Razorback greats, but like one, like the bar is DMAC, right? And then you've got that next tier. You've got your Cedric Cobbs, your Felix Jones, like your Fred Talley, back in our early high school days. If even that, it might have been like late middle school. I can't remember when Fred Talley played, but Madre Hill, a lot of greats. But Alex Collins is, he's on that tier, amongst those guys. Can't argue with the numbers, and yeah, he was fun to watch for 3 seasons at Arkansas. So again, rest in peace to him. Any particular memory you got of Alex Collins playing, or a play in particular, other than
Other
fourth
than
and
the
25?
other than the 4th and 25, man, probably him just punctuating that LSU win, that first conference win in forever. Whenever we beat LSU at home, and yeah, anytime he river danced. So
yeah, and he had like a fumbling problem early on, but he corrected that, especially like toward the end of the season, and especially his junior year. So you got to see, you saw steady improvement from him. You said to me, what stood out to him, what made him different, was just as soon as he got the ball, just that quick burst. He didn't have just world class speed, but his speed of like finding the hole and just that quick burst through the hole and seeing it and just that quick burst through it. That's what made him different. That's what made him that 1,000-yard rusher every year from his freshman, sophomore, and junior seasons. That's what I'll always remember. And of course, the long hair and just the long hair and the high tuck as he's busting through the hole.
And his mom stealing his commitment letter.
Yeah, there's that too. Of course, the joke was, if he can't even chase his mom down, what makes him think he's going to be able to run away from defenders in the SEC? Well, he eventually did chase her down, grab his commitment letter, sign it, and did a pretty good job running away from SEC defenders for 3 seasons. You don't get 1,000, they don't just hand out 1,000 yards. So again, rest in peace, Alex Collins, forever Razorback. Gone too soon. So, but we will move on to a more dramatic. Well, talk about a plot twist. Talk about a heck of an idea for a Blind Side sequel. Nobody would have seen this coming, right? Just what's going on with Michael Oher, and is it the Tuohys, I believe is how you say it. I think I heard someone pronounce the name.
Right.
Yeah, the Tuohys. Of course, it's the family that supposedly adopted him into their family, and yeah, I guess it's my understanding it's a conservatorship it wasn't an adoption, it was a conservatorship, and they essentially had kind of the rights to the movie and all that. And according to the Tuohys, they split the royalties. I mean, the thing grossed over $300 million. Apparently, according to them, the Tuohys, they split it 5 ways, and I assume that's just amongst everybody in the family, including Michael Oher. According to Michael Oher, he just recently learned he wasn't actually adopted by them, and according to him, he didn't get any money. So I don't. You listen to the Tuohys, and at least the son, I think it was, he seemed, he seemed very relaxed in the interview, just saying like, yeah, this is what he said. He said, I don't get this amount, I'm gonna go public with it. And they're like, okay, whatever you feel like you got to do. But yeah, the Tuohys are saying one thing, Michael Oher saying another. Who's to say which is right? I looked at various reports. Of course, the only one I had a problem with was like CBS New York. gets on there, and of course they make the thing about race. The anchor goes, black football player that was adopted by a white family, and then he goes on to tell the story. I'm like, I don't know why that needed to be included. Of course, the guy ended the coverage of it by saying, yeah, and he went to yeah, he was supposedly adopted by this family, and went to Old Miss. I was like, well, that tells me all I need to know about him. I call it Ole Miss, Old Miss.
Yeah.
Of course, this is a New York station, but yeah, the D in this case stood for dumbass, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the guy reporting on it. But I don't know who you believe here. I guess we're gonna find out. There's gonna be some kind of investigation, or if it's going to court.
Oh, he's probably gonna get some money for the. It's probably gonna be a Netflix or some show come out about it, so he'll get his money.
It's wild. I mean,
That's what he's fishing for.
it was this feel good story, and I believe it was a Disney movie, right? Of course,
Yeah.
if you watch the movie, it's very Hollywooded up, the to the average, just not even necessarily to the non-football fan. I'll put it this way: they love the movie. The non-football fan loves the movie. Even the casual fan does. It was a good movie, but as a football fan, I'm watching it saying, this is that no way that happened. Like, the guy just knows nothing about football. And Michael Oher said even after that, he was like, it's like, that man, I've been playing football since I was a little kid. Like, I know how to
Yeah.
play football. Like, he hated that they made him out to be a dumbass, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
That just knew nothing about football. And they did. It's like, really, this guy who's now a professional football player, professional left tackle, learned how to block and play football from Sandra Bullock. It was goofy and didn't make sense, but it's a Hollywood script, and you kind of expect that. And I didn't even mind that, because I knew Hollywood was just going to put their twist on it. But I knew Michael Lord never liked the movie, just because it made him look bad. It made him look dumb. And it did.
Yeah.
But everybody understood, like, this is just Hollywood putting their twist on it. That's not what really happened. Like, they took the truth and they put their Hollywood twist on it. It's unfortunate either way, though. Like, you see both sides bickering, like, that he should be more grateful, that this family took him in, and he should be. But if he really didn't get any money, and they did use his name, image, and likeness, then yeah, he needs his fair share. But the Tuohys also use their name, image, and likeness too. So if they split it 5 ways, I'm like the Tuohys say they did, I'm perfectly fine with that. I would even say, I don't know. I don't know if Michael Oher should get more or not. I mean, because he doesn't get that opportunity without them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird ordeal, but we'll find out the truth eventually as it comes out. But I don't know why you would take them, do what you can to end the conservatorship and get more money out of it. If you felt, I don't know why you would lie about that.
How long ago did that movie even come out? It's been a
It
minute, right?
came out in 2009. 2009.
Yeah. He said 14 years to figure it out. No, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. He's been out of the league since 2016. He made millions. He made, I don't know, maybe 35 million. I believe it was a number I heard. I'm not for certain on that. And it would be hard to blow through 35 million, but you know how athletes are, and young people in general, with their money. This is pure speculation, not saying it's happening, but if the Tuohys are right, this could be his, just, hey, I got to get more money, because he's not been in the league since 2016. I mean, we're going on 7 years now. So I don't know, but we're going to find out. It's just it is weird timing. It is weird timing. That favors the Tuohys there, but again, this is pure speculation. We'll find out the truth. I don't have an opinion on it one way or another, because I don't know, so I'm not going to pretend to have an opinion on it. But it is quite just from a neutral party, from the outside looking in, it is quite the plot twist to the original Blindside. Disney didn't see this sequel coming.
Yeah, blindside too.
Yeah, Hollywood's always looking for ideas. They're always looking for ideas. So this could be an interesting one. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be put on by Disney though. So we'll see. I think it's got Netflix special in the future,
Yeah.
like you said, or maybe HBO Sports. But I would say Netflix. I could see Netflix jumping all over this one. Okay, but we'll stick to football. Today, Anthony Richardson, third overall pick by the Indianapolis Colts out of Florida, named the Colts starting quarterback today. And like Anthony Richardson, third overall pick, essentially just based on his measurements and athletic ability and stuff he can do in a combine, which wowed everybody.
They only start 11 games, right?
Yeah, and the film and now like that opening game, he looked like something special, but that was not consistent. And he really didn't look that great. You could see he was like a quarterback that Kuiper would hype up, that almost like a Blaine Gabbert but better athlete. Like you look at like Blaine Gabbert was the number one quarterback on their board that year, however long ago that was, over a decade or so, maybe more at this point. But you look at his numbers, his college numbers, and you're like, why is this guy the top quarterback? Like Cam Newton's in the same draft. That guy won the Heisman, and his stats were out of this world. This guy threw like 11 touchdowns and 10 picks or something. And it was something along those lines for Blaine Gabbert, and I was like, why am I going to go after this guy? If he's mediocre in college, he ain't going to be much as a pro, and that proved to be the case. Anthony Richardson, more athletically gifted as far as just physical tools and gifts, but that doesn't mean you can play. Um, yeah, I don't but if you're the Colts, I don't know if this is a good move or not. Dan Orlovsky said it's a good move. It's the right thing to do, considering you weren't lighting it up in college necessarily, at least on a consistent basis. If it's me, I would think I would go the Patrick Mahomes route. Let him sit for a year and learn. Well, but you talk to guys like Peyton Manning, who had one of the worst rookie seasons ever. He said that was great for him. And then he
Yeah.
comes out in year two and just lights it up. Trevor Lawrence didn't have the best rookie season, lit it up this past season. Mac Jones, other direction, looked like the best pick as far as quarterbacks go in that draft. And then year two, he not only plateaued, took a dip.
Yeah.
So that could be that a lot of teams just figured him out. He's more limited than a Trevor Lawrence or guys like that. And defenses just kind of figured out how to play against him, especially at the professional level. With Anthony Richardson, which way would you go if you're the Colts front office? Do you play him now, or do you say let's sit for a year? But then again, I don't know what
What's
other quarterback is on the
yeah?
roster.
I was gonna say, what's their other options? I mean, I don't think they have too many. Um, hey, you went out and gambled, drafted him early, might as well play him. Seems to be the thing to do now. I think they named Bryce Young the starter down there in Carolina, and
CJ Stroud.
Stroud's starting in Houston. So yeah, seems to be the thing to do. We'll see what they do, but I'm not expecting too much out of either of the three. So especially Stroud, he looked rough.
That was a very rough outing for CJ Stroud. I did not see the game, but I saw the numbers. Not good. But you can expect that. It's a preseason game. Go out there, get your feet wet. Let's try some things too. It's very early on, but I don't expect much from the three this season just because of the teams they're on. Uh, Anthony Richardson is on the best team of the three. Like the Colts were a playoff team until Philip Rivers retired, and then Matt Ryan came in, and I thought that would. I didn't think they'd lose much. And Man, I whiffed on that one.
I think a lot
I,
of people left on that one.
yeah, I whiffed on that one. I don't know. I whiffed about as equally on the Colts last year as the Broncos. I expected a lot from the Broncos, and then we saw what we saw, just a disaster season from both teams, and just a career killing season for Matt Ryan. Now, if Matt Ryan was still there, I'd say absolutely get him out of there, put Anthony Richardson in there, anybody but Matt Ryan. But I'm with you on that. I can see the argument for sitting him, but at the same time, it's like, no, let's just put him out there. Let's see what he's got. Teams are teams and fan bases aren't patient anymore. And quarterbacks are more ready now than they ever have been to come into the league and play. You start 7-on-7 play early. It's not like when we played when the quarterback's handing the ball off until they get to high school.
Yeah.
They're doing 7-on-7 comp and they're flinging it in 7th grade now. So quarterbacks are more ready than ever to play. I'm with you. Put him out there. Let's see what he's got, especially when you're that physically gifted. And the Colts they have a better roster than the Texans and the Panthers do. So if this guy gives you the best chance, the best option, he's got that it factor as far as athletic ability goes. So yeah, if this is our best option, let's put him out there and let's see what he can do. If anything, let's get the growing pains out early. Let's get that out now as opposed to year 2 or year 3. And then by year, heck, nowadays, by year 2, you know whether or not the guy's going to be the future. And like, Trevor Lawrence is the future. You knew in year 2, Zach Wilson wasn't. But Zach Wilson can sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a few seasons and maybe he becomes a competent quarterback, by the time Aaron Rodgers hangs it up. Or if anything, enough that you can, I don't know, that you can trade him or just have a viable backup. But yeah, I'm with you. My long-winded way of saying, yeah, play him now. See what he's got. Who do you think has the best career amongst those three? Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. 1, 2, 3 in the draft this past season, and all three named starters. So we're going to see them early and often this season.
Man, that's a tough one. Ooh. Yeah.
Because a lot of it has to do with what team they're on, too.
Yeah. I mean, right now, it's got to be Richardson, right? Because Carolina doesn't have much, and Houston, yeah, they don't have a whole lot. I don't know. I just don't see. You see Bryce Young, holding up, not getting injured. I mean, he's a fairly smaller guy, being a quarterback, and he looked like he got hit a couple of times pretty early on, and I think that's going to be an ongoing theme to the season. Stroud, he's got the size; he could probably withstand the hits. But right now, with the talent around him, I'd say Richardson's set up to have the best career. But a lot can change in 2 years. A lot can change in a year.
See, but you're basing that though strictly kind of off of, now he's gifted. He's as athletically gifted, I'd say, at least as those two. But he's just on the better team. I don't think he's anywhere near the quarterback those two guys are. I think Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are definitely at least a level up over Anthony Richardson as quarterback. Richardson's on the better team. I'll stick with ability wise. I want to say Bryce Young, but I don't know that he's going to hold up. I was huge on CJ Stroud all last year.
I had to put money on it'd probably be Stroud.
Yeah, I was big on him
at the Texans.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to have some growing pains. We've seen that, but he can maybe figure it out. I don't know. I would say Bryce Young, but I don't know that he'll be able to hold up with the body type, the size. Just seeing him out there in drills behind his lineman, it looks like us. It's like a mouse behind, elephants taking a snap.
Mm.
Um, at that level. So I don't know. I'll say Bryce Young if he can hold up. If he can hold up physically, I'm not going to die on the CJ Stroud hill, even though I was just on. I have no problem admitting maybe when I wasn't completely right on something, but it's still early too. Maybe I am. And of course, he did light it up in college, so there's still time for Stroud. But I would say Bryce Young is the most ready to play right now, and I would base a lot of that on that. If he can hold up, I'll say Bryce Young. All right, in other NFL news, okay, how about the Jets backfield right now? It got amped up in a hurry. They signed Dalvin Cook, which doesn't happen if Aaron Rodgers isn't there. They signed Dalvin Cook. At the same time, they activate Breece Hall. So, heck of a backfield there for New York. Again, you don't get Dalvin Cook coming if you're Aaron Rodgers. I know they flirted with the idea of Derek Carr, if Rodgers wasn't an option or if it was too difficult to get him. They're flirting with the idea of Derek Carr. I don't think they get Dalvin Cook if Derek Carr is the quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers, yeah, I'm interested in that because Dalvin Cook he still thinks he's a premier, he's the lead back, which there's no reason to think he's not.
Yeah.
But to go in there with Breece Hall, I mean, that's a pretty good two-headed monster. Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Jets are putting it together. I don't know that they're gonna be able to contend with top teams in the AFC, especially the Chiefs, but they're giving it a go.
Yeah, I don't think it's getting them more in a playoff win. It's not changing my prediction at all.
Yeah, I can see them with a playoff win for sure. I don't know. We'll see, but like I said, they're giving it a go. This roster is getting a boost in a hurry. It's a solid defense. By the way, love the first episode of Hard Knocks. I'm gonna watch episode 2 tonight. I think that's right. It comes out Tuesday night. Love the first episode of Hard Knocks. It was exactly what I wanted to see from the whole thing. Like I'm getting real Aaron Rodgers, personable Aaron Rodgers. I walk away loving the guy. I mean, just because you see the real Aaron Rodgers. He comes out, started the show saying, just looks at the cameraman. He's like, do y'all need to mic me up or anything? They're like, no, you're good. He just walks. Of course, cameras are on him. Fans are excited. And he just chill, like super cool Aaron Rodgers. I think he just looked back at the camera and the last thing he says is just like, I'll give y'all some good shit today. And just casually just made his way onto the practice field. And he did. I mean, he made some throws that only Aaron Rodgers can make. The defense stopped one in particular. Like they didn't stop it, but they showed it in the film room. It was a very competitive, scrimmage, which you get with every NFL team. This isn't anything new, but the defense coordinator shows the film to the defense, which the offense won. That practice, that round of practice, or scrimmage, and he goes, look at this. He goes, look at this throw. The defense coordinator, Rodgers throws from the opposite hash, to the outside shoulder, from the opposite hash to the outside shoulder, for a touchdown. I believe it was. It was just a ridiculous throw across the field, from the opposite hash, outside shoulder. And he was like, yeah, only maybe one guy on the planet can make this throw, and he's on our team. So don't feel bad about that. It was essentially what the defensive coordinator was saying, and he was right. So loved what I saw from Hard Knocks. Like what I'm seeing from the Jets. Is it enough to compete with the Chiefs? No, but are they giving themselves a chance? Absolutely. Okay, let's jump to the NBA now. Okay, the first ever NBA Cup is going to take place mid-season this season, starting in November. I think the finals and semis and the finals are going to be played out early December, like 7th and 9th, I believe it was. I looked up the format. Do you know anything about it? And what are your thoughts on it based on what you've heard and what you know about it?
I remember reading about it a couple of months ago. I don't remember too much about the format. Uh, it sounded entertaining, but I really don't get it.
I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a pretty good idea because you have so many teams, and they're incentivizing things now. Like they had with all this, you know, what's the management, player management. What am I trying to
Load
say here?
management.
Load
Load
management.
management.
There you go.
Yeah, I get that. I
With the
like
load management, well, they're already saying you're not eligible for, like all NBA or like postseason awards if you don't play an X number of games.
it. Mhm.
And this is keeping things interesting early in the season, like early, and it's early in the season because it's late October when they typically play. But I like this. It's something new that to get fans excited about, and it could be something that we'll see what it is. Is it a trophy? I mean, you're not going to get like rings for it or anything, but I mean, it can be a competitive thing to get fans and teams excited for it too. How excited they get, I don't know, but there's going to be some pride involved. We want that cup. I like the format. You can look up the format. I won't take the time and explain it here, but all 32 teams are involved, and they play kind of like pool style play, and then they'll go to a semifinal round in Vegas, and then they play over the next like over 2 days, and that's where you decide the champion, and it's the NBA Cup is what they're calling it. So it's sort of their take on the World Cup, I guess, as far as that format goes. That's kind of the format they're following, how the World Cup does it. So I said I wouldn't explain it, but I kind of did. I had to give you a little bit of an idea. But those are the Cliff Notes version. Uh, yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna check it out. I want to see. It gets me excited about NBA basketball when it's still football season. So I like the idea. I think it's a good idea. At least for the NBA to try. But I think it could work. I think it could. I think it could be good for the league. So I look forward to seeing that. In other NBA news, okay, the Hall of Fame class, 2023, they've been enshrined. The headliners, players, Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker, Dwayne Wade, and Pau Gasol are kind of the big four. I watched some of the speeches. I like Dirk's talking about Jason Kidd kind of having a lot to do with his competitiveness toward the end of his career. Helped push him toward that 2011 championship over Miami, and Dirk was just a different animal then. And Dirk, of course, had a little funny joke of, uh, it was great to have him, because I was, I had to play with all those other guys I was stuck with, until then. Of course, he was, famously paired with Steve Nash. That was a great duo for a long time. Um, that was his little ha moment in the speech. But Pau Gasol's speech about, or just story about getting traded to the Lakers, and how Kobe Bryant came to his room like really late, like 1 a.m. or something, just to say welcome to the team, and just talked about, Kobe's work ethic and teaching him what it took to essentially win a championship. And they won two of them. So, and Kobe's not getting those last two rings without Powell. So, like, Powell was kind of Kobe's Pippen on, those last two NBA championship teams. So it was cool to see that speech. I'm sure Dwayne Wade's was good. Tony Parker's, I read about some of it. Just didn't get a chance to see it. But those big four, that's a heck of a class, man.
Yeah.
Dirk Nowitzki, Tony Parker, Dwayne Wade, and Pau Gasol. Others were inducted. I think the 76 silver medalist Olympic team, Team USA. Other names, coaches, Jim Valvano, who of course famously won the 83 NCAA championship at NC State. He was inducted. Surprised it kind of took this long, right? But I mean, he didn't have like this just great career either. He just really just had that one magical season, and he was such a great talker that he capitalized on a lot of that. But yeah, he was a good enough coach to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Another one that stood out to me, former Texas A&M women's coach Gary Blair, who of course had a stint at Arkansas. Gary Blair won a national championship at Texas A&M. I got to talk to him back when I was a reporter covering the SEC women's tournament. Excellent interview. You can tell he'd been doing it all the time, doing it with a big, fat A&M national championship ring. Of course, his stint at Arkansas, he was fired at Arkansas, so nice little whiff there from the Razorback athletic department. But congrats to him getting inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. And touch up on this a little bit before we go. If you heard the reports about Phil Mickelson's gambling,
Yes.
reported to have bet over $1 billion over the last 3 decades. He only lost about 100 million of that, according to, this is all in pro gambler Billy Walters' book, which is obviously highly anticipated, coming out soon. But it details lefties' gambling habits, and
Well, he
that's
bet on
just a
32 Major League Baseball games in a day. It's like every single game on the schedule.
well, he supposedly called this guy Billy Walters and wanted to bet 100,000 or something on the Ryder Cup on Team USA, but I think that was when Walters, at least according to him, said, "I'm not touching this. Go get help."
Yeah,
And
Phil though. So
say that again. You cut out a little bit.
Phil denies that. He says he never bet on that Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
But
Now
I mean, that's what he has to say though.
this is all from Billy Walters. This is his book. This is not from Phil. Yeah, Phil has denied all this. But what is true and what Phil has confirmed is he's got a gambling problem, and this number is insane. Like this is wild. What's more wild to me is this is what I'm saying. He only lost 100 million, about $100 million betting over $1 billion. So
He lost more
he's
than that. He
I was
lost more.
I was gonna say he did well if that's the actual number, but yeah, good. I'd say good thing he's really good at golf, but then again, maybe he doesn't have this problem if he's not really good at golf, or maybe he still does and he's homeless, or completely ruined his life. But wild story between Phil's gambling and Michael Orr's, allegations against the Tuohys. It's sports never gets boring, and that's what I love about the sports world. They give us plenty to talk about week in, week out. We've not run out of material yet, so keeps it fun for us. But we have run out of time, so we're gonna get out of here. But we'll see y'all next week. Probably talk some more preseason football and stuff. But until then, this is Graham Powell.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all. Next week, visit rhinoraces.com. Again, shout out to Rhino Races.